News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. 800-288-9227 is our number. 800-288-WBAP. Lines wide open for you. And this was quite interesting and telling. Joe Biden was interviewed by fake news MSNBC. And he was asked about whether he regrets calling the man who's in jail for murdering Laken Riley an illegal immigrant, illegal. Do you regret that? And here he is.
I noticed the look of surprise on your face when you walked into the chamber and you saw Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. It was priceless. You feigned shock at seeing her. But during your response to her heckling of you, you used the word illegal when talking about the man who allegedly killed Laken Riley.
An undocumented person. And I shouldn't have used illegal. It's undocumented. And look, when I spoke about the difference between Trump and me, one of the things I talked about on the border was that the way he talks about vermin, the way he talks about these people polluting the blood. I talked about what I'm not going to do, what I won't do. I'm not going to treat any of these people with disrespect. Look, they built the country. The reason our economy is growing. We have to control the border and more orderly flow, but I don't share his view at all.
So you regret using that word?
Yes.
Do you know that Joe Biden's team today is saying that was not an apology? Can you believe that? Can you believe that Joe Biden cares more about an illegal who was charged with putting a child in danger, endangering a child, the life of a child in New York City, and then who fled New York after endangering a child, and then came to Athens, Georgia, another sanctuary city, where he is accused of being in the woods where a trail is that the UGA students go and work out at every day, and waiting, apparently, or seeing an opportunity, a crime of opportunity, and seeing this beautiful young woman who is a nursing student who's 22, who loves God, and whose family loves God. She's jogging, thinking that she can take a jog in America on any given day, especially in a very safe area like the University of Georgia campus area. When she sees a man who appears extremely suspicious or worse, calls 911, is in the middle of calling, and she's talking to somebody, apparently, from what we understand. We will hear this tape one day, but perhaps not till after the trial. And she is grabbed by an illegal, what according to the police, an illegal alien, and is dragged into the woods deeper. And perhaps, and so the 911 call was stopped by an illegal immigrant who the police say did it, and either hit in the head so hard with a blunt force object that her skull was crushed and deformed in that first moment, or was dragged away after he ended the 911 call. However, he did it, according to the authorities, and then dragged her to her death. And she was guilty of thinking that she was safe in America, in a small town. Sure, it's a college town, but it's a small town. I mean, any college town that you or I think of it, except for the big city one, you know what I mean? But I'm saying college town, 10,000, 20,000 people, I don't know, county of maybe up to 100,000, whatever, you know what I'm saying? A college, and because I'm thinking about UT, that's not a college town. That's a large city, It's about to become a bigger city, but the way it is. But can you imagine that? I mean, this is what you would think, and there's nothing wrong with thinking that you can take a jog in daylight in the morning in a safe, semi-rural area in a college town. But one of Joe Biden's illegals is in jail for killing her. And Joe wisely called him an illegal in the State of the Union speech. It apparently, we don't know for sure, but if it was on the script or not for the State of the Union, but it looked to me like he was going off script and telling the truth, which is what Democrats say, like one of the contributors to The Five, can't remember her name, Jessica something or other, but like she says, he is famous for going off script and kicking butt doing that. I believe he went off script, and the script to be kicking butt on was calling him an illegal immigrant, which was a way to curry more favor from independents, moderates, and maybe even light Republicans that like Nikki Haley. But over the weekend, he sat down with his base, which is a MSNBC News fake news reporter, and he repented of his crime. He made the illegal immigrant the important piece of this story, even though cops say he murdered Laken Riley, a woman who's done nothing wrong from all reports. An illegal who put a child in danger up in New York City, fled and came to Georgia, where he's now accused of murdering Laken Riley, gets the apology. What does Laken Riley get and her family get? He mispronounces her name twice. The only time he ever has mentioned her name that I'm aware of is when he called her Laken Riley 2 separate times in the State of the Union. The only person that's known to Americans beyond her with a similar name is Coach Laken Riley, who's the head coach of the USC Trojans. And as far as I'm aware, USC doesn't play UGA, and he wasn't there jogging that day killed by an illegal, according to the police. It was her, Laken. So he mispronounces her name, throws out a flare to distract us by saying illegal. 2 days later, repents and apologizes by saying that he shouldn't have called the accused illegal murderer that he let in a year and a half ago or so or less an illegal, because he matters. Laken Riley, or in his case, Laken Riley, doesn't matter. And I suspect that's why Laken's parents were at a Trump rally this weekend in Rome, Georgia, in North Georgia, very close to where I used to live and do a show from, within an hour, in Atlanta metropolitan area. Rome, Georgia is, kind of north by northwest by about an hour, I think, hour and 15, if I'm not mistaken, from my memory. And you heard the apology there. Now, today's press secretary of people or spokespeople are saying absolutely not. There was no apology. He did not apologize. How dare you say he apologized? No, he didn't. Trump said he did.
They just told me prior to...
Oh, by the way, this is during the Laken Riley rally where the Trump rally where her parents were there. He met with them personally. He hugged them. And they were nodding their heads, watching Trump's rally the whole time. Here's what he said while they were there.
They just told me prior to what I'm doing right now that Joe Biden went on television and apologized for calling Laken's murderer an illegal. He was an illegal alien. He was an illegal immigrant. He was an illegal migrant. And he shouldn't have been in our country, and he never would have been under the Trump policy.
Now, coming up next, you're going to hear one of the 2 U.S. senators in Georgia, both Democrats, Warnock, saying the GOP is using this murder of this student for cheap political points. I want to ask you a series of questions. Do you think Biden and the Democrats care more about illegals than us? Even when illegals murder us, they still care more about illegals than us? Do you think that? And do you think that Laken's parents will eventually endorse Trump publicly and publicly condemn Joe Biden and the Democrats for what they've done to their daughter? And do you agree with Senator Warnock, the Democrat from Georgia, who says the GOP is simply using this murder of the student, Laken Riley, for cheap political points? 800-288-WBAP is our number. Would love to hear from you right now. Chime in, 800-288-9227. And as I said, you'll hear Democrat Warnock from Georgia say it's all about cheap political points. I want to hear from you next on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3.
I noticed the look of surprise on your face when you walked into the chamber and you saw Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. It was priceless. You feigned shock at seeing her. But during your response to her heckling of you, you used the word illegal. when talking about the man who allegedly killed Laken Riley?
An undocumented person. And I shouldn't have used illegal. It's undocumented. And look, when I spoke about the difference between Trump and me, one of the things I talked about on the border was that the way he talks about vermin, the way he talks about these people polluting the blood. I talked about what I'm not going to do, what I won't do. I'm not going to treat any of these people with disrespect. Look, they built the country. The reason our economy is growing. We have to control the border and more orderly flow, but I don't share his view at all.
So you regret using that word?
Yes.
It's an apology. His handlers today say he did not apologize. He said they built this country, too. Did you hear that? That illegal immigrants built this country. My house was built in, I think, 68. And 1968. And my house was built with great craftsmanship. And my house does not have issues like many of the newer houses do in this state, this country, in this region, and all over the world. Now, the illegals that build the houses nowadays mean well. And I'm not saying they're bad people, but I'm just saying a lot of them are incompetent regarding craftsmanship of house building. And that's why today's houses, along with the supplies, I believe, this is my neophyte analysis, that's why houses suck today, new houses. But houses like mine were built. Joe Biden is wrong. He's lying. They weren't. This country was not built off the backs of illegals. Illegals did not build the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. Illegals did not build the Texas Capitol. Illegals did not build the house that I live in 1958 or 68, I believe it was. They did not. And that's why those houses are built right. They did not build this country. And it's to me, it's rather disgusting to apologize to an illegal that is in jail for murdering Laken Riley. And it's just quite shocking to me. So the president apologizes and then says today it's not an apology. Meantime, I wanted to play you this too. This is the Democrat senator from Georgia, one of the two Democrat senators, Raphael Warnock, claiming this is all about cheap political points.
And the fact that there are those who walked away from this bipartisan legislation, or at least a chance to debate it, and now they're trying to score political points in the wake of a young woman's death, that is craven politics at its worst. It's what turns people away from politics. And I think we can do much better than that. We can secure the border, and we can make sure that we are doing everything we can to make sure our children are safe.
I hear Joe Biden politicizing the death of Laken Riley. Don't you hear that in his response on MSNBC over the weekend? Don't you believe he changed his mind about calling the illegal that's accused of killing Laken that's in jail? That he changed his mind instead of calling her an illegal and apologized? Don't you think he did it because he's running for office in the fall and his base is angry about it? His leftist base is angry about what he said about an illegal? So everything he did in apologizing and having a sit-down interview to apologize for calling the illegal an illegal who's in jail for murder was for politics. And yet he says what Trump is doing is politicizing it. And yet Raphael Warnock, a liberal Democrat, Georgia senator, is also politicizing it by saying that Trump's trying to score cheap political points. No. Joe said illegal because he meant it and was trying to curry favor with folks from our side of the political realm. But he changed his mind and apologized and genuflected to this illegal because of politics, not because he realizes he was wrong. He knows he was right. But he was told by his handlers that he will get butthurt in the election in the fall from his base for what he said. So, do you think Biden and the Democrats care more about illegals than us? Even when their illegals murder us, they still care more about illegals than us. To me, that's an absolute yes. There's no question. Do you think Laken's parents will eventually endorse Trump and publicly condemn Joe Biden and the Dems? They will. I'm convinced they will. They were at the Trump rally this weekend. He met them. He hugged them. They thanked him. So I think the next thing's going to happen when the time is right is they're going to do some political ads for Trump on the whole illegal immigration thing. And they're going to say, you care more about my daughter's killer than you do my daughter. You caused this, and then you apologize for calling the illegal an illegal? How dare you? That's what they can say. They can say it in a 30-second ad, and probably will speak at some Trump events, truthfully. And the left media will cover it up, etc. Our number is 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. I want to hear from you. Do you think Biden and the Democrats care more about illegals than us, even when they murder us? Do you think Laken's parents will eventually endorse Trump and publicly condemn Joe Biden and the Dems for this position? And do you agree with Raphael Warnock, the senator from Georgia, who says the GOP is using this murder for cheap political points? I don't think so. I think the country is enraged at what happened to sweet Laken Riley. This is not a political partisan issue. It's not. Because every Democrat, moderate, and Republican saw this and thought of their daughter or their son. In fact, it just happened again. We have another story. We have an illegal immigrant from Missouri, who's now accused of causing a head-on crash that killed a young Missouri boy. Hat tip to my friend Carlos Tercios for just sending this out to me a second ago. A woman in the U.S. accused of causing a head-on runway crash in Missouri that killed a 12-year-old boy. Travis Wolf was just one day away from celebrating his 12th birthday when authorities say Andrina Bracco slammed into his family's car head-on. Authorities tell them that Bracco, 33, was barreling down the highway in the wrong way, going 70 miles an hour in a 40. And so he was severely injured, initially survived the December crash in Hazelwood, which is suburban St. Louis. He was rushed to the hospital, put on life support. His parents were taken there with broken wrists, broken ribs. He died March 6th. Yesterday, his parents said Travis was taken off life support. He will be forever remembered as a funny kid with a huge heart and a love for blues hockey, St. Louis Blues. Please continue to support the family as bills continue to grow, said a family friend on the GoFundMe. So she's facing involuntary manslaughter charges in the first degree, 2 counts of assault in the second degree, 2 counts of endangering a child in the first degree, 1 count of operating a vehicle without a valid license. Thanks, Joe Biden. And that's what we have. Thank you, Joe Biden, for this. We don't want to say illegal, killing our children again. Next, Jimmy Kimmel reads, this is amazing. Trump posts about Jimmy Kimmel trolling him in the middle of the Oscars. Jimmy gets in trouble. He says they told him not to read it, but he read it in the Oscars. And then Hollywood laughed at him and attacked him, verbally or whatever. All that next. You got to hear it. I got the audio on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-9227 is our number. 800-288-9227. And you know what's interesting? There is some very compelling audio that I want to play from you of Barack Hussein Obama, former President Hussein Obama, after he was elected in office in his first term in 2009, where Mr. Hussein Obama is telling the truth about illegals. And it's amazing. This was in 2009. Look at where former President Hussein Obama has come from 2009 to today. Look at the difference in everything. Quite profound.
This is not going to be a free ride. It's not going to be some instant amnesty. What's going to happen is you are going to pay a significant fine. You are going to learn English. You are going to go to the back of the line so that you don't get ahead of somebody who was in Mexico City applying legally. But after you've done these things over a certain period of time, you can earn your citizenship, so that it's not something that is guaranteed or automatic. You've got to earn it, but over time, you give people an opportunity. Now, it only works, though, if you do all the pieces. I think the American people, they appreciate and believe in immigration, but they can't have a situation where you just have 500,000 people pouring over the border without any kind of mechanism to control it. So we've got to deal with that at the same time as we deal in a humane fashion with folks who have put down roots here, have become our neighbors, have become our friends. They may have children who are U.S. citizens. That's the kind of comprehensive approach that we have to take.
Where's the Mr. Hussein Obama from 2009 today in 2024? What has changed since then and now? Now you have his puppet, President Biden, saying that he's sorry for calling the accused murderer who's in jail of murdering Laken Riley illegal. You know, this is pretty amazing, isn't it? Do you think Joe Biden and the Democrats care more about illegals than us, even when they murder us? And do you think Laken's parents, who were at the Trump rally, hugged him and thanked him and were nodding their heads while his rally was going on, watching it there in the crowd, do you think Laken's parents will eventually endorse Trump and publicly condemn Joe Biden and the Democrats? Do you agree with Democrat liberal Senator, U.S. Senator Georgia, Senator Warnock, who says the GOP is using murder of the student for cheap political points? Or do you think it's the other way around, which I do? I think it's the other way around. I think Democrats are. Let's go to your call, 800-288-WBAP. By the way, this is News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. 800-288-9227 is our number, 800-288-WBAP. Ruben in Oklahoma, you're live on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hello, sir.
Hi, Chris. How are you? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much.
So, like I told your call screener, this one kind of hits home for a number of reasons. My family emigrated to the United States legally in 1963. I was just an infant, but I was born in South America. My brother was born in South America. And as a family, we all eventually became U.S. citizens. And I really have no sympathy for illegal immigration, illegal aliens. When I grew up, we called them illegal aliens. Now they're trying to sugarcoat it every which way, possible. But the fact is, you entered our country illegally. This is the only country on the planet that allows this sort of thing. It infuriates me. Mm-hmm. And then also, additionally, I have a 10-year-old daughter, and I try to put myself in the Riley family shoes, and forgive me, I can't remember the name of the other young woman who was shot by an illegal alien in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Oh, yes. Casey, I think it was back. Casey Stein or it'll come to me in a second. Right. Go ahead.
But again, that one just, she died in her father's arms saying, "Daddy, please help me." And so those things hit me. They touch me deeply.
Kate Steinle.
I'm a Christian.
Kate Steinle. Yeah, go ahead.
Kate Steinle. Yeah. Yes. So, man, it's just tough. They're literally either the fentanyl or the gangs that are coming across, or our citizens are being murdered. Our kids are being killed. One way or another.
What country did your family come here from? You and your family?
Colombia, South America.
Okay, I have a very good friend. He and his wife, we met at church, and they're from Colombia as well. Now, they've moved to New Jersey since then, but we're still very close. Our daughters were very close, and he was in the Colombian National Guard and such. But he came here and served us in our National Guard, and he's a dear friend. So I know some folks from Colombia and love them very much. And we hosted his whole family over. They came into town once at our house, and I was making them laugh and speaking Spanish because I speak Spanish pretty well, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah. But they took us to a Colombian authentic restaurant here in town. No, I mean this is funny because they're cutting in line and they're destroying it. I was talking to a friend who really has a heart for illegals in a nice way. And disagrees with me on this issue, and that's fine. One of my colleagues here, and we were talking about it, and she was having a little difficulty understanding how she didn't understand at all. I'm like, listen, any goodwill towards illegals and towards working towards some kind of a compromise or deal is gone. And she didn't understand that. And I'm like, listen, it's real simple. This president has destroyed any goodwill to try to do anything. That at this point now, and this I'll speak for me personally, but I think I speak for a lot of folks on our side of the coin here, and that is that for now, until these 9 million plus people get deported and kicked out of this country, none of them are legitimate. Until they're all kicked out of this country and the border is secure, meaning the Trump's mandates are put back in his executive orders. That way, the flow will go to in Trump's worst month, it was 140,000, not 380,000 plus. And our border patrol won't be overwhelmed. They could stop people and catch the bad guys because they are not wiping butts and serving baby bottles and such. So she didn't understand that, but I'm like, there's no ill will. There's no will. It's all ill will now. We're done. We're not working with you. All of them have to be deported. All of this has to stop and be until it's done. We ain't doing nothing. At least I'm speaking for myself. At least. How about you?
100%. 100%.
I could give a frog spat. And she goes, "What about the Dreamers?" Like, I don't care about them. They're done too. All of them. Get out of here. We're done.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything. I will vote anybody out of office that and rail on them for as putting up illegals in front of us in every way, shape, or form, no matter what, until this is all gone and they're all deported. The John Cornyn's of our side of the coin they're not on our side. They can take a hike. I'd like to vote them out of office. I have no sympathy. I have no nothing. Get the heck out of this country. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not a Cornyn fan, but my argument for folks that are well-meaning all the time is, well, great, then why don't you adopt a family of 5 or 6, put them through school, pay for their health care, feed them, clothe them, everything, support them 100%.
How about you just take them in and let them live with you for a couple of years? Go ahead, sorry.
That's what I mean. Take them in and do everything.
No, don't do everything. Take them. How about you just say, take them in and host them. Like, you don't know them. Take them in and host them. They don't have to do all the healthcare stuff. Just take them into your house. And they won't. Right. Not one of them will, for the most part. Right. And if they don't, then why would we want them in our country if you don't want them in your house?
Yeah, that's what the taxpayers are being asked to do.
Right. Sorry.
The bill for everything.
I interrupted you. Go ahead and finish your thoughts, sir.
Well, no, that was it. It's just that's what the American taxpayers are being asked to do. I mean, all this money has to come from somewhere for their free health care, their free phones, and everything.
Right.
The Roosevelt Hotel in Manhattan, New York, all that has to be paid.
Yeah, absolutely right.
It's coming out of our pockets. So.
Yes.
Anyway,
Ruben,
thank you, Chris, for your time.
Thank you, brother. I'm glad you and your family are here. I'm grateful for you being here. Thank you, brother. All right, that's legal immigration, and legal immigration is great. Illegals and illegal invasion is not immigration. Is not an immigrant. It is not a migrant. There's no such thing as a migrant. That is a term to not call them illegal. They are criminal invaders. Every one of these quote-unquote migrants are not migrants. They're criminals. They're criminal invaders. They have no business in this country, and all 9 to 12 million need to get out of here. All of them. And Trump will do that. Biden won't. He'll keep them here and bring in a whole bunch more, another 12 million. Jay Johnson, the former Homeland Secretary, said that over 1,000 illegals in a day was a bad day, an overwhelming day. Well, under Biden, it's sometimes been as many as 10 to 12,000 in one day. There's no security. There's nothing going on. It's a full-scale global invasion from countries that love terrorism like Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, the Islamic Republic of Mauritania in West Africa. They're all here. And terrorists have come, and they're going to do a massive attack this year, next year, or in a few years, whatever. They're going to do it. They're already here. They already brought in the dirty bomb materials in a backpack, which they can do. Same thing with chem and bio. All right, up next, we have Jimmy Kimmel in the Oscars. You must hear this. He gets trolled by Trump on Truth Social. Jimmy prints it out, is monitoring, following Trump on Truth Social. In the middle of the Oscars ceremony, live, Jimmy watches Trump's Truth Social feed. Are you understanding this? And they told him at the Oscars, the people in charge of him said, don't read it. He read it. And we'll talk about what happened after that. You don't want to miss this. You'll hear it next on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM 93.3. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. You had better make that a preset. All right, now this is on my Twitter feed. If you want to see it, it's in there. You just got to dig a little bit down. It happened earlier this morning. We were just tweeting it and checking it out. Jimmy Kimmel was at the, hosting the Oscars last night. And apparently he was just simply waiting for Orange Man he was literally waiting for Orange Man to troll him. So he was watching it and waiting. That's what happened last night as he was doing that, hosting the Oscars. And apparently he or somebody on his staff was waiting to see if Trump would do anything about it, and got it. They got some tweet that he did from, or not tweet, but what do you call it? They got Jimmy Kimmel, his staff found Trump on Truth Social, was following him even during the Oscars, and there he was. Jimmy Kimmel was quoting Trump during the Oscars. I'm trying to find this little piece. Was taking a while to come up here. There we go. Hold on. And boo. All right, here it goes. If it'll play.
Just got a review, and has there ever been a worse host than Jimmy Kimmel at the Oscars? His opening was that of a less than average person trying too hard to be something which he is not and never can be. Get rid of Kimmel and perhaps replace him with another washed up but cheap ABC talent, George Slopanopoulos. He would make everybody on stage look bigger, stronger, and more glamorous. Blah, blah, blah. Make America great again. See if you can guess which former president just posted that on Truth. Thank you for watching. I'm surprised you're still... Isn't it past your jail time?
Oh, boy, there it was. Here is the exact quotation from Donald J. Trump. You know what? Trump won. He got inside Jimmy Kimmel's head. Jimmy was following Trump when he was supposed to be hosting the Oscars. This is a tremendous victory. This is free publicity. And in this whole thing, I got to say, it was funny where it says you're past your jail time now. It's funny. It's cute. I don't agree with it. But, it's okay to be honest and say that was funny. That's what the left won't do. Just be honest. It was funny. But Trump is living inside of Kimmel's head, and Kimmel can't even do the show without following Trump. Isn't that amazing? That's his big, huge duty right there. Now, the reviews of Kimmel's hosting, not by me, but by the media and critics, said it was horrible. Like, not just because of that, but the overall hosting was horrible, according to the reviews. I got several of them right here in front of me. Jimmy Kimmel bombs at Oscars. 2024 hosts joke about Robert Downey Jr.'s drug use, leaves actor fuming. Emma Stone appears to call him a P word, as in, it rhymes with brick. As he scrambles for a laugh with Naked John Cena gag. That's from the Daily Mail. So there you go. Now, a lot to talk about with this, though. A lot. What I want to do coming up next on the Chris Crock Show, and we can play it again to reset it, maybe, I don't know, but we want to talk about this. Who won? I want to hear from you. Who won Trump's True Social post being read? Trump or Kimmel and Hollywood? Who won by Trump's True Social post being read in the Oscars? Trump or Kimmel and Hollywood? And who's more in touch with us? Who's more in touch with everyday Americans, Trump or Hollywood? Aren't they really laughing at us right there? Us little plebes. Throw us little scraps and expect us to be satiated and quiet. And do you think average Americans are laughing with Hollywood and Kimmel over this or agreeing with Trump? 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. We'll play it again, but this is quite interesting, isn't it? Kimmel also spoke out in addition to all that today, and he said he was told not to read Trump's Oscars. During the Oscars, Trump's stuff. This is all interesting. So who do you think when you watch this, is Hollywood laughing at us? Whose side do you think the average Americans are on? Kimmel and Hollywood folks there, or Trump's? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. I will replay it, and also you're going to hear more about the allegations that Kimmel was told not to read Trump's Oscars criticism. I think it was an incredible plug for Trump. It's amazing.